Okay, we're here with Dave the Snake from Skid Row. This is Rock Fiend Publications, and we're at Hard Rock Hell in Wales.
Yes, we are.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. I'm proud to be here.
You've been on tour for the last week and
32 years.
32 years. Sorry.
Yeah, we've been on it. We got over to this neck of the woods in last Thursday. We flew into Dublin, and in the midst of a snowstorm, we were the last flight to arrive at the airport, and they weren't quite prepared for the snowstorm, and so unfortunately the first show of the tour got postponed, which is a little weird. You know, you get off a plane and you're psyched and ready to go, but you know, we played the following night in Belfast, which was insane, and it's been great so far. So I guess we're about 6 shows in so far, and
the guys caught you in the Glasgow show on Monday.
Yeah.
So how's it been going? Everything.
I think that we're playing pretty well, and our spirits are really high. I think everyone's really excited to be doing this. You know, to be out here and performing and on this side of the ocean, and it's been quite some time. I mean, we haven't been in here 3 years, I think. You know, I think we were in 2014, I believe, 14. So, yeah, quite some time.
There's a lot of excitement around Hard Rock Hell. And
this thing is great. I mean, we were here 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was in a different area, like a different place, but it was, remember Airborne was on it, and I forget who else was on it, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time, and so when we had the opportunity to come back, and we were jumped at the chance. I mean, actually, we built our tour pretty much around this show.
You kind of know as well that you're going to be playing to a very busy room tonight, yeah?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
It's the way to spend a Saturday night, man.
So obviously, right, we're going right back to the beginning, 88, 89.
Right.
What do you sort of stand by when you look back to that period of time? Which song are you most proud of when you look back?
Oh my gosh, I'm proud of it all. I mean, the good and the ugly and the bad, all of it, because you have to go through all of that to somehow get here. And you know what? And I guess in my old crusty age, I've grown to appreciate the fact that I'm still above ground. And you know, a lot of our friends are going by the wayside, and it's tough to handle, tough to see, but that's life. So you know what? I think me personally, I think us as a band too, we've adopted the attitude of, you know what, let's enjoy this moment, man. Let's like live in this moment every day. And so everything that we've gone through over 32 years has led us here. So I'm proud of it all because I'm still here.
Kind of look back, and I remember buying the album on import in Windows in Newcastle.
Right,
which
okay.
was the only place that you could pick up in the Northwest and anything that was kind of fresh out of the States.
Okay.
And it's like, the album sounds just as relevant now as
Oh,
it
wow.
did back then.
That's a great compliment. Thank you.
We were listening to it this morning, actually.
Yeah.
That's really a great compliment. Because, you know, look, we're a bunch of kids. You know, you go in a studio, you're getting guidance from people, be it managers, but and business people and whatnot. But the guidance that is the most important thing is the people who are involved with your music and that treat it affectionately and gingerly too, because this is, you know, as a songwriter, Rachel and I write, we are extremely protective of it, no matter what it is. It could be the worst piece of garbage in the world, but we are protective.
Yeah.
Like, you better choose your words wisely when you talk about the songs.
Well, they're your babies, aren't they?
Yeah, so Michael Wagner was that perfect guy to come in and go, yeah, this is what I think, and so on and so forth. And he did it in such a way that it made him a part of our band. And so, you know, we're in there playing, and we're that's our end of it. But he articulated or helped articulate the sound that we had in our heads, and thus, you know, put it there for you know, for eternity, if you will, and so you gotta live and die by that. And so I'm so happy to hear that, you know, in your view, that it stood the test of time.
Most definitely.
Next year is the 30th anniversary.
Yes, it is.
Is there anything special planned?
You know what? I just, it's very interesting because you know, the 29th anniversary came and went, and I was made aware of it by other people. I wasn't really conscious of it, you know. It's I'm one of those guys who, once I'm done working on something and it's released, I really don't listen to it. You know, I don't kind of go back and revisit it. I haven't really, unless someone's playing it on the radio or then you hear it. You know, oh, cool. So I'm giving a long answer to should be a short answer. I haven't, and we haven't really thought about it. I think it would be cool to do something, but I don't want to fuck with the integrity of that record in any way whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, I love that it's affected a lot of people and that people responded to it and hold it in high regard. It's very humbling, but it's still most precious to me. So at the end of the day, and the guys who helped create it, you know, we all, you know.
And are you playing? You know, obviously there was the original album, and then you had Slave to the Grind. Is there quite a few songs from that in the set that you're going to be playing?
Absolutely. I mean, here's the cool thing is that we don't hide from our history or anything like that with band member changes and stuff like that. It's all a part of it. I mean, it's all part of it. It's all worthy being paid attention to. So I don't try to hide from our past. We don't do that. We embrace it. Now, those songs are a big reason why we're still here is because those are, you know, people who are coming to see us, they relate to those songs. It means something to them. That should be treated with respect by the band, and we do.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you look out at the audience when you're playing these songs and you see everybody still?
It's amazing to me. I mean, it's amazing to me. I kid you not. It's still an incredibly genuine feeling, and I think that's a cool thing about that our band and where we are right now is we take nothing for granted, and we're really, really humbled by the fact that we get to do this, that we get to go play music for a living. I don't know if people realize who get to play music for a living how fucking lucky they are. But we do. We're very lucky. We feel very fortunate that we're able to do this.
Kind of on that subject then, where do you see the future? Are you looking to put out some new material?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do our next record with Michael Wagner.
Yeah.
We already.
It doesn't get much better than that.
He's the best, man.
Yeah.
So he's. It's funny because you know everybody is sort of scattered about the world. ZP lives outside of Manchester. Rachel's in Nashville. Our drummer Rob is in Atlanta. Scotty's in Los Angeles. I'm in New York. But we've kind of all gravitated down to the Nashville area. Great music scene down there, and so we set up camp down there. Have like our headquarters, if you will.
Yeah.
And Michael Wagner's down there as well. And so we've already. You know, we're mapping out the game plan for that. We've written a bunch of stuff so far, probably, I'd say 6 or 7 things that will definitely make it on the record.
Superb.
So, yeah, man, it's, you know what, things have changed significantly, you know, and it's a different ball game than it was when we first came out. We're well aware of that, and you know, you can't lament the past. You can only embrace it and be thankful for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, that is a reason why we still get to do what we do. So,
kind of looking way back. First gig, Kiss. Is that in around 77?
Oh, the first one I went to go to,
Yeah.
December 16th of 77.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden.
And what kind of impact did that have?
It
on your
changed
life
everything.
at that
It
point?
changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed my life completely. At the time, I was a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I went with my buddy who lived on the street, John Bon Jovi, and you know, a friend of mine, this guy Tony, his mom had gotten us tickets, and then took the train ride up from a little town called South Amboy, New Jersey, and then took you right underneath Madison Square Garden. So, drinking Mad Dog 2020.
Things haven't changed.
Yeah, right. My choices have gotten better.
Concert trips or something.
Yeah, right. So, and I walked into that show as a fan of Kiss and a fan of music. I was raised in music in my house, but I was a jock, man. I was going to be, my goal was to be a professional baseball player.
Athletics.
I was straight. That was what I was going to do. And,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what they're going to do at age 13? But age 13, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I walked out of that show, and life changed completely. It was completely, everything was wiped off the table, and I knew in my brain that music, and I didn't know how, I didn't know if I was going to pick up the guitar or what I was going to do. I just knew that music was going to be the centerpiece of my life. And it took about a year for me to figure out that I wanted to play guitar. And John had already been playing guitar, and you know, we were best mates and whatnot. But I wasn't playing it, and then
So you guys hanging out when you were that age?
Oh yeah, I've known him since I was like 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had started playing guitar, and he was 15 years old when we went to that show. He had already been like writing songs, and stuff.
Yeah.
And I hadn't even touched the guitar yet. Didn't want anything to do with it. And then that changed. So like a year later, I was like 14 and a half years old. My brother had a guitar at the house, one of my older brothers, and he gave up on it. He was like, I don't want to do this, sucks. I was like, and it just, I don't know, it's one of those things where I was like, this gives me an opportunity to do something better than my brother.
Do you remember what the guitar was?
Yeah, it was a cheap acoustic guitar from Sears. So it cost maybe probably $30. It was terrible. It was so hard to play, but that was probably a blessing because it built up the calluses on my fingers really quick.
Who are your guitar heroes? As a guitar hero, who are your guitar
Thousands, man. I mean, the usual suspects are Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen and Joe Perry, and, Glenn Tipton and KK Downing and Dave Murray and Adrian Smith.
So you were really influenced by the new wave of British heavy
I was
metal,
so influenced by it. I
Yeah.
mean, I was the guy that was playing Angel Witch records, and no one knew who to. Like, what is that? Like, and I was in, all that stuff. The Samson, and I knew when Dickinson was in Samson, and, Tigers of Pantang, and like I said, Angel Witch, and who else was there? Was it 220 Volt was one, maybe? I think there was a band called Holocaust that changed the name to Hologram.
Yeah. I think Metallica went on to cover one of their songs. Didn't
Probably, yeah. And of course, Diamond Head and who else was there? But Judas Priest and Maiden and Motorhead were and Angel Witch for me, and Def Leppard were the main influences for me that came out of that.
So there was quite a British influence of rock music then
To me, yeah. I mean, for me, I lived by a flea market, and in that flea market, flea market, right? Okay. So there was a booth in the flea market, and it was a metal import record store. It was called Rock and Roll Heaven, and the guy who owned it, him and his wife, was John and Marcia Zazula.
It was, yeah.
And so that's where I got all my stuff from. From the first Iron Maiden album that I still have, that was on Harvest Records, wasn't even on EMI yet in the United States, and that changed me completely. And I got all my Judas Priest imports, the live stuff and whatnot, before Unleashed in the East came out. And so and I would get Kerrang! Magazine, and that would be my Bible. All of it would be my Bible. And no one knew what I was listening to. Like my friends, I was turning them on to it. But it was Johnny and Marcia that turned me onto it. And it's funny, man. You'd see the Anthrax guys in there as they were just starting, and they were doing the same thing, grabbing all these records, and it was a pioneering influence, along with Kiss. Kiss was right there as well. And
funny, I was talking to Scotty a few years ago, and it was much the same thing. He remembered that era and that moment in time really fondly.
It was,
and a lot of his stories were based around that.
Oh no, it was the same. I didn't even know Scott. I knew of him, and I remember seeing him in Rock and Roll Heaven. We were just kids.
But you went on to do a little bit of a tour with some of the Anthrax guys.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I did. They're great friends, and great guys. And I hold them in high regard.
Never changed over the years either.
No, man. Oh my gosh, Frankie and I still verbally abuse each other exactly the same as we did long before we had any sort of success whatsoever. It's still the same bullshit. It's great. It's great.
You still, I mean, I remember watching years back when the first album came out, there was a lot of humor and stuff backstage. Is that still there?
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's kind of like the common thread that runs through this band, is that there's got to be comedy, or else there's no point in doing it, you gotta have fun doing it.
I remember you doing the accents of the whole Jersey thing and all that.
Yeah, well, some things never change. I lived in California for 11 years, and I went and moved back to the East Coast simply because I missed it. I missed being amongst my friends and my mates that I grew up with, and my just that, I don't know, the work ethic that exists there, and just the overall attitude that is pervasive there, you know.
Do you still have family in that area?
Yeah. I'm out in Long Island. My family's in New Jersey, but I make it out there and hang out with my idiot friends from high school and stuff. Yeah. And that's the thing, though, because those are the people that kept you grounded. Like, I can remember we were playing Giant Stadium in New Jersey, 75,000 people, whatever it was. And my friends were like, you coming to the bar after the show? Like, just a little pub in the corner, this place called Simcoe's. So I'm like, well, I kind of got some work to do, but okay, yeah, I think I will if I can. We used to pull our bus up to these little pubs, in my town, my hometown. And when we'd be traveling through, we're like, let's stop at Simcoe's for a quick one. My friends would be sitting there, and they're unaffected by it, like, oh, that's cool, man, yeah, okay. You buying around, like, that's, they're unaffected, and that's what was so great, is they're happy for you, they're proud of you, but it's not like they're going to treat you any differently. You're still the same dickhead that you were, 3 years before you got a record deal.
So, I remember seeing you down at Milton Keynes when you did the Jersey Syndicate tour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember I met Peter Grant that day. It was crazy.
Yeah. That must have been a huge gig for you guys at that point in time. Yeah?
It was
you've just done the Moscow Peace Festival as well, hadn't you?
Yeah, that was our first time in the UK.
Yeah.
It was the first show for us ever to be on that stage.
Of a gig as well, yeah.
Yeah, what was it? It was Vixen, us, Europe, and Bon Jovi, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Oh my gosh. I remember, just Doc McGee, our manager at the time, and he was like, yeah, Peter Grant is here, and goes talk to him, like, I need to meet that guy. It's fucking Led Zeppelin's manager, And,
What was he as domineering as everybody says he was?
Yeah, he was. He had a presence about him that was larger than life, and just one of those individuals that he didn't really need to say any words. You kind of were. It was an intimidating force. Yeah. But it was. He was. I think he was getting ill at that point. So it wasn't like he was, the King Kong Bundy of rock and roll.
Walking around with his cricket bat.
Right. But still, a guy like that, like, I've always been fascinated with the business side of music, and so when talking to a guy like that who just reshaped the music business for touring bands, reshaped it, man. Single-handedly. If it wasn't for him, touring artists wouldn't be getting anything near what they get. He
was a pioneer in that sense.
He was like, you know what? We take 90%, not 50%, or you don't get Led Zeppelin.
Right.
And so everybody got in line. They're like, okay, 10% of the watermelon is better than 50% of the grape.
Yeah.
So the new album you're going to Nashville to record. When do you think it'll be out?
Well, we're attempting. Traditionally you sit there and you block out a month or two at a time.
Yeah.
That's impossible for us because we're touring so much, and so I think we're going to do it in like 3 or 4 stages, but that's that's a risky proposition too, because all of a sudden down the line you might have better ideas and we're going to be in our heads, but we have to figure out a way that we can do this. Excuse me, where it doesn't take forever to do. We just want to make sure that we have, obviously, our best material available, and everybody's on the same, on the same wavelength as far as what we want to accomplish.
Well, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Best of luck for tonight.
Yeah, thank you. A pleasure to speak with you.
Dave.
I appreciate it.
All the
Thank
best,
you.
man.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I
We
appreciate
get
it.
a quick picture before.